A lot of people tout up unconditional love as some like height to reach or some sort of almost perfection to have, like it's just the highest goal to attain. And I think ultimately it is one of the most beautiful things, but that can also get you burned. I know for me, the way that I love, the best way I can describe it, is a more unconditional. I'm not saying it's fully unconditional. I don't know if fully unconditional love exists in this realm. But I would describe it as more, as best as I can, as a more cosmic kind of love, an understanding love, a compassionate love. From my deep meditations, when I've come into contact with, when I have dissolved and I've come into contact with my deeper being and what that is a part of, which is God, source, totality, oneness, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, totality. It's love, right? There was that feeling of understanding, compassion, love. And someone could say, well, what about the hard things? What about the negatives? What about the suffering we go through? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it is all love ultimately. Like, I can't describe it to you other than saying that when I've entered that space, it's all I intuitively understood everything, that all of the hardship, all of the lessons, all of the pain, in this existence and things like that. Like, it's something I asked for. It's something that I wanted. But at the end of the day, ultimately, it is love. That is the source, right? That is who we are. That is what we come from. It is just peace and love and acceptance and compassion. And it's just, it's okay. Like, it's all okay, right? So, but yeah, since I was very young, I think I've just seen things and like felt differently. Like, I don't know. It's this very accepting attitude. It's this very like, I don't really have an agenda mindset. I don't like, it's so hard to describe, right? Like, how do you describe your state of being compared to like other states of being as like time's gone on since you were young, and then over the years you're kind of realizing the differences between people. And so I'm doing my best to describe it, but it's like since I was young, and it's just gotten stronger over the years, or at least I've understood myself over the years, is that it is a more cosmic love, or it is a more understanding love, compassionate love, unconditional. It's more unconditional than most people, right? That's what I've come to realize. But on the negative side of that, that's also hurt me a lot, right? Like, I stayed with my first partner way, way too long because I had too much unconditional love, right? I had too much understanding. I had too much compassion, and actually harmed like myself more than I should have, right? I disrespected myself more than I should have. You know, that's kind of the double-edged sword of it, right? Is that it's one of the most beautiful things to have or to receive or to be around, I'm sure. And when I felt that, it is amazing. It is beautiful, right? I think about my mother, my father, right? My family. When I've received that type of love from family, friends, it is one of the most, or from my partners too, right? At times, like, it is one of the most beautiful things. But yet when you're the giver of that and you're very plugged into that, and that's what you provide, it can also be a double-edged sword and harm you, because there's a lot of people who want that energy, right? Like, they will take that energy, they will take that love, right? They will drain you. They will literally drain you. Because in this 3D world, it's messy, right? In this 3D kind of heavy human existence, our limited existence, our messy, very messy existence, and just all the things that we deal with as human beings. I think someone who emanates light and love and acceptance and positivity and sees things glass half full and has a lot of faith, has a lot of hope, you have to be very careful. You have to be very, very careful. I've learned this lesson, that when you're around people, if they're not on that same wavelength and they are not feeding into your energy where you at least feel at the same level, if not they uplift you as you uplift them, right? That's what it should be ideally, is a mutual uplifting feeling, in my opinion. I've learned that lesson now, and just even more so, right? Like, of course, it was uplifting at times with my partners if there wasn't positivity and there wasn't great feelings and things like that. But a lot of that also, to be fair, was just fun, or was just lust, or was operating from a place of want or lack. And I've opened up and realized, not opened up, but like I've woken up, whatever you want to call it, realized those types of things over time, that's kind of the origin of that. And I wouldn't have stayed with all the other factors and all the negativity and all the things that hurt me if that wasn't there. But that's like life lessons, right? That's, you grow up and you realize your wounds, and you realize you're just gaining wisdom, right? You realize, your ego, where your ego came into play, where you were ignorant in ways, where you were trying to fill gaps within yourself when you should have filled that yourself rather than being with someone. But I was with someone very, very young. So, and you got to give compassion to yourself, just like I try to give to myself too. So you got to remember that. But yeah, my point is that you have to be very careful being a very open and very loving and very unconditional person, because there are people, and it's not like I'm trying to down other people, right? I'm not even trying to down my exes or down these people I was with. They have their own past and their own journeys, right? And they have their own things to realize. But on the receiving end, on your end of it, if you are that type of person, you can very easily get drained and get harmed very deeply, and you can lose yourself in ways. It's like you can be tapped into this almost cosmic, unconditional, godly like love, but you're still a human being at the end of the day, right? Like you got to take care of you in the 3D, right? You got to take care of you here, not just your spirit and not just that love that you're tapped into, which again, ultimately at the end of the day, I think is one of the most beautiful and amazing things. And when I think about myself, I just feel so much pride in that, right? Which is weird. Maybe for most people as a man, they'd be like, what? You find pride in like how unconditional loving you've been or whatever, right? They'd be like, that's so weak or that's so this or whatever. And I'm like, fuck other people. I don't give a shit about other people's opinions. Society has stupid ass opinions about so many fucking things. It's just bizarre as hell to me that people just believe shit or they just puppet things that they hear. And I'm like, you actually stop and listen. Like if we had more love like that, like how beautiful could the world be, right? How much more peaceful could the world be? But people like fucking chaos and shit and they don't know what, whatever. Anyway, so, but, yeah, having that type of unconditional love and not having proper protections for yourself, people will come in who are wounded. And I think it's actually even more of like a magnet almost. Like I think you're even more of a magnet for people who are seeking that, right? Who are externally validated seeking, right? Rather than internal validation, and are just wanting of love, and they're wanting someone to like heal them or save them or whatever. And the thing is that when you get with someone like that, it's not going to work out that way. It's almost guaranteed that that's not going to happen, right? Like you're not going to lift them up and like heal them and save them. Like it's very unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. Anything's possible, but it's much more likely that someone lower or down on that wavelength of vibration is going to actually pull you down and pull you into their shit, pull you into their vortex of negativity and unhealed traumas and stuff, right? Like they haven't done that work, right? Like that's the only one who can do it. Like I'm saying that for each individual person. I'm not like blaming another person. I'm not judging another person. I'm saying for each individual person, it's your work to do your work on yourself. No one else can do it. No one else can sit with you. No one else can sit with your patterns and watch your mind and untangle all the bullshit. No one can sit and reprocess your childhood. No one can sit and process your relationships and realize where you went wrong and how you had to act differently, right? Like no one can do that work. No one can do that inner work. Only you know yourself that well. Right? And even going to therapy and things like that, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great step. I think it's a great piece of the process. But to me, without like meditation, journaling, reflection, going on long walks, things like that, make fucking TikToks like this and journaling. That's basically what this is. I make TikToks and I journal about my life. And for some reason, 15,000 people decide to follow me. Like, what? This is fucking bizarre as hell. This world is like crazy sometimes, but I love it in certain ways. That type of thing is pretty cool. So, yeah, it's funny. Funny how it's really just been a journal for me. And yet people resonate and follow me. It's pretty sick, to be honest. The moon's out. The moon's, where is it? It's like a full moon out, so it's pretty sick. I've been enjoying that. But, yeah, everyone who watches my videos, I rant and ramble and go off on different tangents, but it all kind of connects in the end. But my point is that if you are that type of unconditional loving person, you can be harmed, right? Like I've been harmed very deeply. And I've had to take my time and sit with myself and heal and feel everything and sit in that pain that felt like death at sometimes, right? That felt like it was so excruciating and hurtful about how could I love, right? How could I love this deeply? How could I care this deeply for people? And then they fucking burn me like this, right? Like they don't feel that same way. They don't see things the way that I see them, right? They don't understand that bigger picture and that it's about the connection and the friendship and the love that we have between each other, and that would be prioritized always, right? And they just don't feel that same way, right? Or they didn't consider me the way I considered them, right? Like how hurtful that is to consider and care and just be so deeply in love like with someone and want the good for them, even if you're not with them, right? It's not even this conditional thing, but you're just like, hey, can we at least keep it good between us? And just because of their stuff or because they're whatever, it goes off on a different direction that you can't control, unfortunately. But the main point is that if you are that type of person, I'm just, talking about my life and maybe it helps someone else. that you do have to protect yourself and you do have to protect that love.